To make a basic array in Java is very simple. So you want to first declare what type of variable that you're storing in here, whether it be integer, strings, characters, objects, even anything. So you would want to, if we were dealing with ints, we would do int. We would have to do 2 of these brackets, and then the name of whatever that we're storing this in. So I'm just going to have name here, but it could be whatever. And we're going to set it equal to. Inside of here, there's 2 different possibilities. The first is if we know what we're passing in. So if we know that we want a list of numbers that are from, let's say, 1 to 5, all we need to do is have these 2 braces and the line, and inside of the braces, we're going to have our values. So we're going to have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the 0th index. Indexing starts at the 0, so this is 0, this is at index 1, this is at index 2, index 3, and index 4. However, the length goes from 1 up, so we have a length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 4 indexes and a length of 5, and the index is the length minus 1. So that's going to be important when you're programming with arrays. Now, the second scenario is if we don't know what we are passing in, but we know the size of what we have. So we'll just do name1 and we're going to set it equal to. Now if we know the size of how many variables that we're going to be using, in fact we can just make this a string to make it a different example. If we know the size, all we need to do is write new string, and then we're going to have these 2 brackets again, and inside of these 2 brackets we're just going to have the number of things that we want to store for the index. So if we have 3 inside of here, we can pass in 3 things. So if we go inside of here and we do sysout and we just print name, there's going to be a problem here. It's going to print out like this. This is the address of it, not the actual name. What we need to do is we need to use a for loop, and we're going to run it the entire length of the array. So we're going to run it as long as a is less than, and we will do name dot length. So it's going to run it 1 less than the name.length, which is great because we want to run it for the entire of the indexes, not the length. Because remember, length is just the index plus 1. Or you could say length is the index is length minus 1. So we do a++, and then we're going to be inside of this for loop. Inside of this for loop, all we want to do is a sysout.println, and all we need to do is do name, and inside of here, we are going to have our brackets, and inside of the brackets we want to have the index that we want to print out. Since a is incrementing every single time, we're just going to have a inside of here. So if we print this, it's going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is everything that we have in here. Now let's move on to the string example. So for the string example, we need to add into our array because we have nothing inside of here. If we were to take this and we were to paste it down here, and instead of doing name, we would do name1 like this, and we want to run it as less than name1.length. Well, even if we run it, we can see that we have 3 nulls right here, and that's because when we make an array, it's going to initialize everything to null when we just pass in a size. So what we can do is add into it. We can actually use a for loop for this if we wanted to add in numbers. There's many ways we can add inside of here. But the basic way is that we are going to do name1. We're going to have these brackets. We are going to use the index. So if we want to add into index 0, we're going to set it equal. And then inside of here, we are going to set some whatever value that we want to store inside of here. Since it's a string, we need quotes. And we'll just type string like this, and we can end this line. If we were to run this, we could see that string is stored in index 0. Well, this isn't very helpful because the other 2 are still null. I mean, it can be pretty helpful, and that's a great way to go about it. But we could also use a for loop, just like we did to print the numbers, to actually put stuff in. So we can use a for loop to output and also input results. So we're going to use this header down here actually, and we're going to pass in. We're not going to print, we're going to pass something in. So we're going to do name1, And then inside of here, we're going to want to pass an a, because a is being incremented every single time. So we're going to get the next index, and we're going to set it equal to. Now, we could set it all equal to the same string. So if we wanted to, we could just type in x. We would see that it would print out the x's here. But if we wanted to, let's say, do numbers, we can make int temp here, and we set it equal to 0, and this line. If we want to print out temp and have it increment every single time, we would just do temp plus plus. However, since we have more than one line of code inside of here, we would have to use brackets like this, or braces, sorry. And there's a problem here. It's because we are trying to store an integer into a string type. So what we can do inside of here, a simple integer dot to string, and then we're going to pass in our integer, which is going to be temp. In fact, we could pass in a if we wanted to, since it's also incrementing as well, but we'll just do this outside example here. So if we print this, we're going to see we have 0, 1, and 2. And that's how we would use arrays, a very basic, simple way to use arrays.